that the pasuk says, "Ki am kshe'irafu v'salachta." You know the pasuk says in Kisisa. We just read it yesterday. The pasuk says, "Tiny super Kisatera," right? The pasuk says, and Moshe says that he asked Hashem, "Nu yelach na Hashem b'kerbeinu, imna matzasi chen beinecha." Right? If I found a favor in your eyes, yelach na Hashem b'kerbeinu, Hashem should go in our midst, because Hashem had previously threatened that he wasn't going to go amongst Klal Yisrael, and rather he was going to send a malach. And then Moshe says, "Yelach na Hashem b'kerbeinu, Hashem should go in our midst." Ki am kshe'eref, who? Because the Yidden are stiff-necked people, v'salachta, and therefore you should forgive the Yidden. Now talk about, I'm not a defense attorney, but that doesn't sound like a very good argument. Hashem, please, yeah, you should go with us. You know why? You should go amongst the Yidden, because they are a stiff-necked people. And v'salachta, and therefore you should forgive their avedas.
It's like the opposite.
It's the opposite.
Stubborn, stiff-necked means stubborn, right?
So the Rebbe says, no. The Rebbe is saying, so first of all, you look in Rashi, Taka, and the Mefarshim, so Muslims say, Yelach na Hashem b'kerbeinu ki am kshe'erev, even though we're am kshe'erev. The ki over there doesn't mean because. The Rebbe says, but the Rebbe says, no, ki means because. And to put it in different words, Moshe told Hashem, listen, yeah, I know that you didn't messed up. 40 days ago, you gave them the Torah, and you told them, La yilacha l'kim acherim. And here they are, 40 days later,
serving the egel,
dancing around this egel, right? Mm-hmm. And worshiping it. You know, it actually makes zero sense for Hashem to forgive Klal Yisrael.
That's true.
Makes no sense. So if we're going to appeal to Hashem's seichel, say to be logical, logically, that was the end of it. Comes to Hashem and says, I want you to do something that's illogical. I want you to forgive the Yidden. Why? Because the Yidden are illogical also. They're stiff-necked, stubborn people. And you know what's going to happen if you forgive them? If you illogically forgive them, they're going to be illogically committed to you for the next 3,000 years. Through thick and thin, through pogroms and through the Holocaust, right? You know, there's a sefer called Shevet Yehuda, which is it records many of the different. It's written, I don't know, 400 years ago. Records many of the different persecutions of Klal Yisrael. So there's a story there about a Yid who escaped from the Spanish Inquisition. In other words, he left with his mishpacha because he refused to convert. And I'm trying to remember the whole story. They were on a ship, and the ship was wrecked, and he got onto an island. He was with his wife and his kids, and first his wife died. And then him and his kids were all hungry, and he fainted. And when he awoke, his kids are also dead. He was alone. And he turns to Hashem and says, Hashem, you're doing everything you can to make me abandon you. I want you to know. It's not going to work. Not going to work. I'm with you.
Not so many people like this.
This is Am Kshe'eref. This is Am Kshe'eref. Am Kshe'eref is a nation that here we are in Galus 2,000 years, and everyone looks and says, like, what in the world, we're still here? How are we still here? And we're here. And Am Yisrael Chai V'Kayam. And this is what Moshe was telling Hashem. Yeah, I know I'm asking you to do something crazy. You know why? Because these people are crazy also.
It's a double-edged sword that we're in.
And a chanami. But the point is, the good part. And that's what Moshe says. Yeah, I want you to do something crazy. Why? Because they're crazy. If you're crazy over them, they're crazy over you, and it's a beautiful shidduch. And that's what happened. So Moshe was Ki am she'erafu v'salachta. V'salachta, slicha doesn't make sense. But why should you do slicha ki am she'erafu? Now, the Rebbe over here, and this is Reuven asked in the beginning for something in Yana Diyema. The Rebbe is going to be done a very, very interesting matter. Spartan Yaakov Shemaini, Spartan Yerushalmi. The Rebbe mentions here very briefly. Medrash says, Shalu l'chachma. The Yidden asked of chachma, they asked of wisdom. If a Yid does an Aveira, Matahei Allah, what's the consequence? So Chachma answered, I don't remember the exact words, but Chachma answered, something along the lines of Tiasrecha Rasacha. Maybe even that's where the words. In other words, no.
Misa. Says he'll get Misa.
No. Something tirade chatoim tirade fira. I think that's the lashon pasuk. That if you sin, you're chased by evil. In other words, bad things are going to happen. So then Shalu and Nevuah. The Yidden went. Maybe I guess they weren't too content with this answer.
That answer.
So they went and they asked Nevuah. Again, someone does Naveda. What's the consequence? So Nevuah answered, Nefesh HaChadas Hitamus. The sinner dies. Talk about going from bad to worse, right? Yidden weren't happy with that either. So it says, Shalu Nevuah. They asked, Shalu Torah. They asked Torah. And Torah said, you know what? Bring a carbon asham, you'll be forgiven. But the Yidden weren't happy with that either. Shalu LaKadosh Baruch Hu. They asked Hashem, Nefesh HaChitas, a person who doesn't Aveda, what's the consequence? And Hashem answered, Yasu Tshuva, just do Tshuva, and you're forgiven. So Chassidus explained the significance of this allegorical dialogue. The first pasuk, by the way, Chatoim Tiradi Fira, is from Mishlei Shlomo Melech. Shlomo Melech was the embodiment of wisdom. You go to wisdom and say, I do an Aveda, what's the consequence? It's like going to a doctor and saying, Doctor, I ate poison, what's the consequence? Doctor, dentist, I haven't brushed my teeth in 5 years, what's the consequence? Doctor, I walked barefoot in the snow for 3 hours, what's the consequence? What's the consequence? Poison is the consequence, right? Your teeth are going to fall off and you got frostbitten, right? It's not a punishment. Wisdom, Ezel Chacham, you're talking about Chachma, Ezel Chacham.
Oh, wait, I don't know.
So Chachma says, you did an Aveda, of course. An Aveda unleashes all the negative consequences. Hashem gave us Torah. And Torah mitzvahs are the way to a productive, beautiful life. You don't do them, there are the consequences.
What's interesting to me is that the Chachma doesn't ever assume that you'll do tshuva. Because Chachma knows about the mitzvah of tshuva.
Hold your thoughts. So the Yidden go to Nevuah. And here it gets worse. What is Nevuah? Nevuah means a receptivity to Hashem. A person who is devoid of ego, and it's all about relationship and connection with Hashem. That's how you become a Navi. So now you go to a Navi and you say, what do I do? So this is a pasuk, I think, from Yecheskel, right? Nefesh HaChetas Hitamus. Nevuah says, you didn't have you severed your connection to Hashem. Well, what's left? To Nevuah, what is life? Life is connection with Hashem. You didn't have you severed. There's no life. That is death. So the Yidden went to Torah. Listen, Torah has a system. Torah is the system. And what is the system? Just like the Torah says, don't steal. And if you do steal, return it, right? The Torah has the system, and Torah, you know what? You didn't have it. It's a terrible thing. So, but the system also provides for a fix. You bring an asham, and you'll be forgiven. The Yidden went to the Eibishter, and the Eibishter says, just say sorry and we're good. Oh, but I didn't have a system. It makes no sense. It's illogical. It's beyond logic. Slicha is beyond logic. We messed up, and we have to understand that when Hashem forgives, it's not because Hashem didn't care that He did an Avera. When Hashem says don't do an Avera, He means it. And when we do an Avera, it's very hurtful for Him. He doesn't want us to do an Avera. And it's a rebellion against Hashem. And however bad we think an Avera is, it's 1,000,000 times worse than what we're thinking. And nevertheless, we come to Hashem like a father. You know, imagine a kid, the whole life goes and is hurtful to the father. The last day he says, sorry, and the father says, I forgive you. Why the father said, that's logical? No, it's not logical. Slicha is higher than seichel. Forgiveness. And that's what we said. So, let's do this inside. Regarding this, the pasuk says that because we are am she'erif, therefore v'salachta Hashem forgives. Why? Slicha also doesn't make sense. Forgiveness doesn't make sense. Why should I forgive? You hurt me. We hurt Hashem. Why should you forgive? To the extent that when they asked wisdom didn't say do tshuva. You know, imagine someone goes and does something awful to you and says, I'm sorry, you're forgiving him? No. Wisdom says, you did the terrible things, you're going to suffer the consequences. Moshe was actually asking from Hashem, midah keneged midah. He's saying, because these people are crazy, you also do crazy. Because these people are stiff-necked and they act in ways that are higher than seichel, you should also act in that way. And Alter Rebbe is turning to Chassidim and saying, you're an Am Kshe'erif. I want you to use that Am Kshe'erif to make this commitment to davening, to avodas hatfilah, and nothing can budge you from that commitment. Ki Am Kshe'erifu, no matter what, avodas hatfilah every single day, to daven and to put your entire energy into to daven tafke the koil ram, and I sometimes it's hard. And sometimes it seems that, there are a million reasons why not to daven and the other things that are more important. For that, sometimes it requires akshana, sometimes it requires stubbornness, which is higher than seichel. And this is ultimately, you asked for a message for Yom Kipper, this is the message of Yom Kipper. We're coming to Hashem and we're saying, Hashem, forgive us. And Hashem says to you, why should I forgive you? So we should we should invoke the Moshe Rabbeinu and say, Ki am kshe'erufu v'salachta. Hashem, I'm asking you to do something crazy, but I want you to know this coming year I'm going to be crazy also. What is the area in which I'm going to be crazy? So Bashkacha Pratis, that on the Thursday night before Yom Kippur we're learning this Perek, so maybe that's a sign for us. We should turn to Hashem this Yom Kippur and say, Hashem, I want the salachta. I want l'mayla manaseichel. I want things that don't make sense. I want you to forgive me. It doesn't make sense. I want health and I want all the brachas in the world. Maybe I don't deserve it. It doesn't make sense. But why? Because I'm kshe'erif. Because I'm going to commit this year. This year I'm kshe'erif. My davening, my avodas hatfilah, my commitment this year to davening is going to be steadfast and absolute in a way which is higher than logic. And therefore Hashem, midah keneged midah, I want you to do the same. And the Eibishter Taka should give each and every one of us a chsima and a gemar chsima teva l'shana teva mesukah, a good kibbutz year, a year of growth, a year of connection, a year of chassidus, and a year, most importantly, a year of geula and Mashiach.